call the meeting to order at this time. Mr. Childs, if you would do the invocation. Mr. Rogers, lead us in the pledge, please.
Let us pray. Your Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings you give us. Thank you for our citizens, our wonderful city, and for the United States. Help this panel to make the right decisions to help our citizens and keep us safe. And forgive us when we fail you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting. If members of the council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Communications from the mayor. Welcome, Commissioner Whitfield. Nice to have you with us tonight. We had a work session at 4 o'clock today that lasted till about 6 o'clock. That's why we're a few minutes getting started tonight. But some important things, some of the things that we've got going on, the future of our city, and it's very informative. I thank council and all staff. First of all, thank all the staff members for attending, and it was very informative. Also, congratulations, Ms. Stennett, Mr. Child, Mr. Crawford. Scheduled election that thankfully we're not going to have because there was no opposition. I think that speaks highly on their job that they've done and the job that our city manager and the other council members have done. We've got, I know in the past, one of my big sayings was a train that came off the track, and we was going to have to get it back on the track. Well, I think we've got it back on the track now. And I'd like to thank members of the council for that. You know, y'all's decisions is why you didn't have any opposition this time. And I think that shows that we've got a good crew here. We've got a good group. We're working hard for the citizens, and I think the citizens recognize that. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. We have none. First reading of ordinance number 2017-06, amendment to the soil and erosion ordinance. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance 2017-06, amendment to the soil erosion and sediment control ordinance. An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Oglethorpe, Georgia, to provide for certain revisions of the soil erosion and sediment control ordinance to amend definitions, CPESC, and final stabilization, Chapter 34, Article 2, Section 34, definitions, to provide for the provisions therein as is authorized by state law, to provide for modification, to provide for severability, to repeal the conflicting ordinances or parts thereof, to provide for the adoption effective date and for all other purposes allowed by law, whereas the duly elected governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is authorized under Article 11, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia, the Official Code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and Charter of the City of Fort Oglethorpe to adopt reasonable ordinances, protect and improve public health, safety, welfare, and aesthetics of the citizens of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and whereas the duly elected governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is vested with the City Council, composed of a mayor and 5 council members, whereas the Georgia Erosion and Sediment Act OCGA 1278A2 requires review, revision, or amendment of the local issuing authority's ordinances within 12 months of any amendment to the chapter, and whereas the model soil erosion, sediment, and pollution control ordinance was revised by the state to include modified definitions of CPESC and final stabilization. Now therefore it is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the City of Fort Oglethorpe that the soil erosion and sediment ordinances for the City of Fort Oglethorpe is hereby amended as follows. Sets out the old ordinance, sets out the new definitions as required by law, And this new ordinance is available in the clerk's office.
You through or did you run out of gas?
I'm sorry.
You through or did you run out?
Oh, I'll keep going.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. Item number 1, resolution number 2017-04, resolution in support of Fort Oglethorpe Police Department state certification. Mr. Stokes, have you got it, Chief?
I'll read it, but I think the chief wants to address the council
All right.
before I read it.
Thank you for the opportunity to be considered in this matter tonight. State certification is something that's not to be taken lightly. As in Georgia, there are 650 law enforcement agencies. Of those 650, only 123 are currently state certified. The Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police advises that about a third of those 123 are departments similar to our size and population. Many of the agencies that are now looking at certification are doing so because they're in a forced-to position. In other words, their local government risk management services, risk management, LGRMS, is requiring them to pursue this or lose any and all discounts through their risk management program. We're not in that position. We don't want to be in that position. We want to be on the forward front of things. So we're asking for support and in this area as we desire to achieve this standard on our own. We want to take that lead. Certification process usually begins. Once it begins, we sign formal documents to request an entry into that. It takes 18 to 24 months, but the state does not let you take beyond 3 years. It must be completed in that time frame. The 12 critical tasks that I discussed briefly in our work session are all encompassed in this, along with many other areas of professional standards. There are 129 that we would be required to obtain and then maintain. Once this process is, we have begun the process through application, and then we work through all our policies and procedures. When we notify them that we're ready to be assessed, they'll send a team of assessors from across the state, analyze us, and determine if we qualify for state certification, and then every 3 years get reassessed again. This is not a heavy implication into your budget. That's usually a large question to ask. There's a fee, $375 fee to apply, and then there's an association we want to join. That's a couple hundred a year. Both of those are already contained in our budget. We can afford that. What we would want to add to the budget, not for 2018, but for 2019, you have to agree as an agency that we would supply the lodging and meals for the assessors that are going to come up and evaluate our agency. Some of them may live close enough that we may not have to do that, but if somebody comes from South Georgia or Middle Georgia, they may require some lodging and a couple of meals. That has to be agreed to in the process, but that's not even the 2018 budget. That would be 2019, we'll program that in and it's going to be supported. Every profession today that's a profession has standards. Law enforcement has those as well. This is ours. We desire to be out in front, and we ask your support as we begin this pursuit in this professional standard.
Thank you, Chief Helton. Mr. Stokes?
2017-04, a resolution in recognition of the City of Fort Oglethorpe's Police Department and to resolve to support such department in furtherance of the state accreditation and for all other purposes. Whereas pursuant to its municipal charter and the laws of the state of Georgia, the city has established a municipal police department, commonly known and referred to as the Fort Oglethorpe Police Department. Whereas the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe salutes the history and growth of its police department. Whereas the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is desirous of expressing its support for the police department's efforts in obtaining state accreditation. Now therefore be it ordained and resolved by the City of Fort Oglethorpe, a Georgia municipal corporation, and by the authority of the same, it is hereby ordained and resolved as follows. Section 1. The City Council hereby expressly recognizes the creation of the Fort Oglethorpe Police Department and vests all powers in the department as permitted and allowed under prevailing law. The City Council authorizes the Police Department and City staff to pursue state accreditation of the department through the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. Section 2. All resolutions or parts of resolution in conflict thereof are repealed.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 under resolutions, resolution number 2017-05, resolution in support of Walker County T-Splosh. Mr. Stokes.
Resolution 2017-05, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between Walker County, the City of Fort Oglethorpe, and other municipalities in Walker County concerning the imposition of a transportation special purpose local option sales tax enacted pursuant to OCGA Section 48.8.111 et sec, repealing all conflicting resolutions and for other purposes. Witness, whereas the City of Lookout Mountain, City of Chickamauga, City of Fort Oglethorpe, City of Lafayette, and City of Rossville jointly hereinafter municipalities constitute all the municipalities located within Walker County, Georgia, and whereas OCGA 48.8.11A1D authorizes the imposition of a 1% transportation special purpose local option sales tax for the purpose of generating funds to be used and expended on a capital outlay project or project to be owned or operated by either Walker County, the City of Fort Oglethorpe, or one of the more other municipalities, or in combination thereof. And OCGA Section 48.8.115B authorizes the distribution of proceeds from the T-Splosh to the county governing authority and any qualified municipalities in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement entered into for such purpose. And whereas Walker County, Georgia, and the municipalities desire to utilize the proceeds of a T-Splosh for one or more purposes authorized under 48.8.111A1, and whereas the parties have prepared and desired and enter into an intergovernmental agreement in substantial form to that attached hereto to control the distribution and use of T-Splosh proceeds received solely by Walker County and the municipalities located within Walker County. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, as follows. Section 1. The attached intergovernmental agreement addressing the disbursement of T-Splosh proceeds among Walker County and the municipalities and other related matters is hereby approved. Section 2. The mayor of the City of Fort Oglethorpe is authorized to execute the intergovernmental agreement on behalf of the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to further negotiate and execute all other documents consistent with its terms and to take such further actions as may be necessary to effectuate the purposes of this resolution. Section 3. All resolutions or parts of resolution in conflict herewith are repealed. This blank day of August 2017. You're up.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Whitfield has joined us tonight. If y'all have any questions you'd like for Mr. Whitfield to answer. I guess the main thing to note is this is a T-Splosh that is going to be on the ballot in November for Walker County. We are not approving a 1% affecting City of Fort Oglethorpe or Catoosa County. This is something Mr. Whitfield is putting on for Walker County, and since we do have a few residents in Walker County, it does need our approval, and if it does pass in Walker County, the same percentages will be dispersed to our city to use on those roads in Walker County as the T-Splosh, as the E-Splosh, not the special purpose local option sales tax. I'll get it out in a minute. Mr. Whitfield can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the exact same percentages as we are currently getting. But we don't want people thinking that we're automatically voting a 1% tax, because that in fact is not what we're doing. Mr. Whitfield is elected to give the citizens of Walker County an option to vote on that T-Splosh, and we're simply agreeing as that part of those residents that are in our city, they too will have that same option as all Walker County residents do have. but if council has any questions, I'm sure Mr. Whitfield can explain it better than I, and he will be glad to answer any of those questions.
Did a good job.
Well done.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 under resolutions, resolution number 2017-06, resolution in support of veterans. Mr. Stoltz.
Resolution in support of the creation of the Fort Oglethorpe Veterans Committee, whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been demonstrated through the patriotic commitment and sacrifice of many veterans from the city of Fort Oglethorpe, and whereas the city of Fort Oglethorpe veterans are owed a great debt for their service in the defense of this nation, and whereas those veterans have now ended their active military journey, yet their spirit remains in the continued promise and perseverance of liberty for all oppressed individuals throughout the world, and whereas in honor of those dedicated citizens, the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe wish to memorialize the enduring efforts of our veterans in creating this Veterans Council as a lasting entity to the principles of freedom and democracy to continue serving on behalf of the said city. Now therefore be it resolved, it is hereby decreed by the mayor and council of Fort Oglethorpe that this is named and known forever as Fort Oglethorpe Veterans Council, a volunteer service organization. This is the 28th day of August, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to approve.
Motion, sir.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business. We have none. Next item on the agenda, reading of the city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Article 1, proposed approval of LMIG paving contract. Director Long.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have the 2017 LMIG paving. We have got the bids. We did a sealed bid on it, and only had one bidder. The bid come in, it's bid out by the per ton, and we also have the striping, and also have added in for milling, which don't qualify as part of the LMIG funding. That would be something the city would do. We have the 2 streets we've got on the list to do this year is South Cedar Lane and Fort Town Drive. South Cedar will be complete milling on that road, and then Fort Town would be partial, and then some of the patching and a few high places on it. The bids come in for the asphalt resurfacing at $105 per ton. Striping is $1,200 per lane mile, or per line mile, and the milling is $4 per square yard. And on this, to try to get it down, I've been talking to them to see if we could get the millings off of the road and use up here on the extra parking lot that's growed up where a new gymnasium's going to be, and use that for a base surface. So negotiating that with them if this is approved. Also, the estimated amount to do this is $196,000, and the funding would be from GDOT 2017 LMIG funding, and then also the rest of it would be the 2014 SPLOST.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 under new business, proposed recommendation to approve planning commission appointments. Director Quarles.
Mayor and Council, proposed recommendations to approve planning commission appointments. Planning commissions assist in advising city council on growth and development, consists of 7 members plus 1 non-voting alternate, appointed by city council to 4-year terms. 3 planning and zoning commission members and 1 alternate are willing to be reappointed. Ed Kirkland is chair, Stephen Dennis, Nolan Richardson, the complete term of Joanne Ezell, and alternate James Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Quarles. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 under new business, approve recommendation to purchase 5 patrol vehicles. Chief Helton.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to request the council to consider the purchase of 5 patrol vehicles. That will be 2018 Dodge Chargers, the V6 models, not the V8s with the larger engines. We determined that we don't need a V8 engine within the city. For the most part, what our officers do, that lowered our cost a bit. We would like to replace some line cars that are in serious need of replacement. Some of those replacements would be between 2005 and 2008 models. Our supervisors will be conducting final analysis as to which ones need to be swapped out, and definitely have plenty that need to be swapped out. So these 5, a total charge for each vehicle with the equipment that is equivalent to what we have out on the street at this time is $29,792. The cars in this case are each at $19,427. This dollar amount is substantially less than the state contract price. The closest state contract price I could find for these was $22,851. So there's a substantial difference. A local dealership, Mountain View Chrysler Dodge, was the one that wanted to do business. We saw, as we were shopping vehicles and looking around, that City of Ringgold had recently conducted a bid process and opened their bids this same month. So we obtained their bid documents, their procedures, made sure they bid theirs according to law, and everything was complied with. We contacted the dealership, saw they were well below state contract price, consulted with Mr. Stoltz. We'd like to recommend the purchase of these 5 vehicles. Extremely low price for these. I think this certain dealership is wanting to do local business. They also have the capabilities we've already been utilizing at their downtown location, where they can install all the other equipment on the cars as well. It's one of those convenience shops where you can buy them from them and they put everything in there.
Thank you, Chief Helton. Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, Chief, is this within our budgeting amount for vehicles?
Yes, I checked with the city manager, and she advised that these would come from SPLOST funds. So the $148,960 total would come from SPLOST funds, she advised, is currently in the budget.
Okay. And the vehicles that we are replacing, we will put those up for sale to recoup even more money.
We found a good option for many of those. We have had a few fender benders, a few repairs that have been needed, where if we would have had to go out and conduct those, it would have cost us more money. And these staff members already had the foresight to be able to say, we're really not going to use that car much anymore. Let's put it in the garage and let's trade these fenders when we need to replace it. Let's trade these parts when we need to replace it. So some of those cars, once we're completely finished with them on the line, will go for other pieces to save us money when we have another fender bender or need to replace something that breaks down. That's been very effective in cost savings during this budget year and last budget year. But the ones that we get rid of would go to the auction process that Phil Parker takes care of. We'll rotate out some of those cars on the street that need to be taken off and get some of those that are in their back lots, trade those and swap places.
Excellent stewardship. Thanks, Chief.
What's the normal useful life you're using, like 10 years? 8 to 10 years?
It depends on the jurisdiction. In our city, we can make cars last a tad longer. City driving, it is not as much as driving from one end of the county or some other jurisdiction, or if you're a state trooper going who knows where to who knows where. So our guys take good care of their cars. They take pride in their vehicles, so they want them running well. And we have, our last purchase was when the city bought 10 at one time in 2014. And those 2014s, we hope we can get 10 years out of them. We hope.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4 under new business, Proposed recommendation to approve intergovernmental agreement with Walker County in support of T-SPOS. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Ms. Simpkins.
I would like to first say thank you to all of city staff for all the work, the hard, thoughtful work that staff's done on the budget process so far this year. We are a great team, and I would like to thank them for all of their hard work. We have one invitation to bid that's currently posted on the City of Fort Oglethorpe website, and that is ITB 00617, Highway 41 Area Sewer Phase 1. It closes at 1:50 p.m. on Thursday, September 14th. So any interested bidders should go check that project out. And finally, happy birthday to Craig Crawford. Tomorrow is his birthday.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
He had another one?
Oh.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments and business. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you as well to the staff. The work session today was really informative, and I'm really thankful to have such a great group. You guys are phenomenal, and just thank you. That's it,
Thank you,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Rogers. Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I'd like to, again, echo what he was saying. It's great to look at it in the 3.5 years that I've been on council, and I told the staff back there that I think it's the first time we've had a complete staff of department heads since I've been here, and y'all are doing a great job, and I consider y'all, like I said, a lot of people saying the dream team back there that Ms. Simpkins has put together. So keep up the good work, and we're looking forward to the future. And Commissioner Whitfield, good to see you. And what I'd like to say too right now, just I'd like to wish my mom and dad a happy anniversary. Saturday was their 55th, and they celebrated in a romantic corner room at Erlanger Hospital while my mom was having a surgery on her leg that she had suffered from a fall. So, anyway, just happy anniversary to my mom and dad.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Childs.
I want to echo these two. We have a great team, city manager, directors. Thank you so much. It was very informative to see how our budget is going to work next year. We're in good hands. The mayor had talked earlier about a pretty good council. Well, it's probably because of him that this happened. So you got to have a good leader. So anyway, kudos to you.
Thank you, sir.
That's it.
Ms. Stenney.
Yes, sir. Everything that occurred in the back is a reflection on the wonderful things that we have going on in the city of Fort Oglethorpe, because we do have this area protected and provided for. Thank you, Chief Helton. And bringing those things together, we have things like In the Footstep of Sergeant York, which will be September 26th through 30th at the 6th Cavalry Museum. And Chief, one of the things we talked about were the unfortunate things that were going on with the youth and others. Teen Maze is going on September 18th through 21st. I encourage everyone to volunteer to help construct this. This is students 6th through 12th grades, and it talks 8.7% of Georgia students consider suicide these days. 8.7%. 4.1% actually attempted. 17% said they didn't know, but they could talk about it, feeling sad. And 22% said they didn't even know an adult they could talk to about these things. 22% of our children said they had no one to talk to. This is an important part of these children growing up. The Teen Maze provides them contacts and information to help with some very serious problems with our youth these days. So please support Teen Maze. Don't forget the Fort Oglethorpe 5K is coming up in November, so check our website for more information. And I look forward to seeing everyone at Labor Day at the Post. That's all, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Stenney. Ms. James.
I want to say for everyone to please keep Texas in your thoughts and prayers. I know we hadn't mentioned that yet, and we're fortunate to be where we are in this city, and just please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Anything we can do to send help to them, we want to be there for them because they're going through a lot right now.
Thank you, Ms. James. Next item on the agenda, citizens petitions and requests. We have none. Next item is executive session. We have none. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.